today we're breaking down Roseville, California. It actually breaks down into 3 separate areas: East Roseville, West Roseville, and kind of the historic or downtown Roseville. Population is right around 150 at this point, still growing. And then we're also seeing the housing prices still go out. Now, we're not seeing them go up as much as we were, say about a year ago, but they are still steadily increasing. Now, with that population, we've actually seen people, as they're coming to the area, move into some different portions of Roseville that we haven't been seeing happening quite as often as some of these most popular areas in Roseville. But it's definitely one of those things that are kind of changing the landscape of Roseville itself. Now, other than that, I'm going to break down kind of the different freeways that you're going to take for traveling. Also, we'll get into some of the schools and just break down kind of some of the areas that, say, just the locals hang out in. So let's get into it and let's jump into that map. All right, guys, so we're going to jump into this map here real quick. First thing I want to point out to you, let me grab my little coloring stick here. All right, so we're breaking down into 3 different areas. We've got West Roseville, which is going to basically, if you take this 65, draw a little line here, and then you take this 80, everything on this side is going to be your West Roseville area. Now, West Roseville is going to be one of those places where we're seeing a lot of new building going on. You've got, like Highland Reserve, which has been pretty much built out. All this little area down here, like Wood Creek, Oak, stuff like that, has been built out. But as we move into a little bit further west, we're seeing a lot of building going on in, say, like this West Park area. We're also, it's actually not even on the map yet, but we're seeing some additional stuff come on down here. And then if we get a little bit more south, Roseville for the longest time kind of ended at Baseline Road, and then of course we always had Morgan Creek Golf Club, which I did a video on this. This is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Roseville itself, but they were kind of just a standalone. Now Roseville's starting to push south a little bit. They're actually starting to get into this PFE road and come down. There's a couple things going on. You've got single family homes going in there, as well as we have some 55 and older communities as well. Now, one of the things I always talk about is the golfing. Tons of golfing in the West Roseville area. We have right here Diamond Oaks Golf Course. Another one that doesn't really show up on the map here, but in Sun City, this is a 55 and older community. They have actually 2 golf courses. We're gonna have one, a 9-hole, and then we also have an 18-hole. Pretty cool because they all wrap around each other. Houses surround the whole area. Now, West Roseville, going back out here, this is where the new West Park High School is. This is going to have kind of the state-of-the-art basketball courts, classrooms. Really feels like that Google campus that everybody is really enjoying out here. All the high schools right now, I will say, in Roseville in general, are going to be in the A+ ratings. I think the lowest one, which is actually a private school or private high school, is actually an 8 out of 10. Other than that, like I say, it doesn't really matter whether you're on East Roseville, West Roseville, or you're in the downtown area. You're going to have great high schools for your kids to go to. Now, the other high school that we're seeing is going to be kind of that Wood Creek High School area. That is going to be the older high school. They were over booked with kids for quite a while until, of course, they built that West Park Roseville High School. So you're seeing the count per kid to teacher ratio really go down there, which is a really great thing. Now, I will say, if you're in this west, like way west area, one of the hard things that we're going to have to deal with out here is going to be the only 2 good ways right now into Roseville or to the 65 is going to be this Blue Oaks Boulevard to 65, or you've got Pleasant Grove Boulevard to 65. So you've got to take that into consideration for 2 factors. One, if you're going to be doing that commuting down to the Sacramento area, and 2, just because we've had a lot of questions about it, if you're going to be actually working into the hospital area, right? If you're at Kaiser and or Sutter, which we're getting a lot of doctors and nurses coming out to this area, you're gonna have to make those drives. So if you're on any sort of a response team, just know it might take you a minute to get to those areas. But if you're just doing kind of like off hours or working at night, stuff like that, you'll be just fine. All right, so moving into one of the places that we're always talking about, of course, is the shopping. So that's really gonna be that center for Roseville. Really what Roseville's all known for is gonna be this Galleria area. Okay, so Galleria, as you can see, is on that 65 and 80. You're gonna have Sunsplash Golf Course right here. Like I say, you got the Galleria Mall over here where this Whole Foods is really just a full shopping center as well, called the Fountains. As we move up, when you get into more just your commercial stuff is Fairway. Now Fairway is going to be actually that borderline for the most part, splitting Roseville and Rockland. And that's why I'm always telling people, like, you really don't know when you've switched over from Rockland to Roseville. It's one of the things as I'm out there showing houses, I always try to point out that to people as we're driving through, just so they understand that whether you move in Roseville or the Rockland area, if you're on, especially that West Roseville area, you're not going to be able to really tell when you've crossed over. But really cool things to do, a lot of things to do. You've got Top Golf right here, where this little Jersey Mike's is showing, really cool. They've got a ton of hotels right here. These are gonna be extended stays. We're seeing a lot of people come out here, of course, because of the sports facilities, which a lot of that is going to be right here on this Industrial Ave is where you're gonna see a lot of these sports facilities for basketball, baseball, that have come into place. And then as we kind of come down, I'll kind of hit that up again as we get into the downtown area. Now, average price point for the properties in the West Roseville area is gonna be about $649. $649 is gonna get you that 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Square footage is gonna be, say, 17,000, maybe up to about 2,000 square foot. And then if you're looking for a new build, you really kind of want to be in that West Roseville area, because all this area right here, which I was talking about earlier, this West Park area, and then also moving up to Fitiment and Blue Oaks area is where a lot of this building is going on. And don't forget about as we move south in that west area. So a lot of building going on because of the shift that we have seen in the housing market. Is we're finally seeing some of these builders start to negotiate with price points and or just credits towards your home. So I've got a lot of clients that we've walked in, and I mean, I've seen from $10,000 up to $30,000 in credits at the end of closing. Only bad thing about what the builders are doing right now for most people is they're only selling what inventory is ready to go. Therefore, if we walk into a property, they'll say, hey, these are the 4 houses that we have available. They are starting to get a little bit of a list of backward from people, because the rest of our inventory, our resale inventory, is so low out here. But all the finishes are pretty much already picked out. From my understanding and talking to some of the builders out here, is this right now has to be done about 5 months prior to building, for them to make sure that they have the proper materials to get into these houses and to make sure that they're actually finished on time. So just know that. And I think that's one of the reasons also they're going through these lists, is because someone might go into these houses and they got all dark finishes and the buyer just is not looking for that. But if you want a great deal and you want to get to the Roseville area, whether that's for the outdoor activity and or if you're just looking for the schools, this whole west area is going to be great. Now, another cool thing that I like to do, wife likes to join me on here, is going to the Tony's farmers market and swap meet. That's going to be moving in. I would say that's kind of starting to get to that border of West Roseville. It's just fun. It's your old school swap meet. Now, they do also have a farmers market in there, so you can go in there on a Saturday and Sunday and just kind of really pick out your fruits, vegetables, anything locally grown here. Now, as we move in to the hub here, So you've got a Costco, Home Depot, Winco, all right here. Again, this is going to be right on that border of Rockland. Coming down, you've got the Roseville Golf Land Sunsplash. This is probably one of the most popular areas for the kids. It's one of those areas that when you drive by, you can hear screaming and people having fun the whole time. And then as we keep going, we're going to start actually headed into this East Roseville area. We're actually going to get into kind of like our auto mall here. It's a huge circle. Any kind of car that your heart can desire, you're going to really find it in there. So going into East Roseville. So East Roseville here, grab this real quick, is going to pretty much come around right in this area. So Douglas Boulevard to Sierra College Boulevard is really our East Roseville area. Like I say, it kind of bleeds over a little bit into here where this Trader Joe's is, and then follows this 65 back up. Now, if you're looking for price points in the East Roseville area and you're just Googling something like this, do know that most maps are going to also kind of spread over this way and kind of take you through here, okay? This is where, like I say, most locals are going to call this more just the downtown area. So your numbers are going to be skewed. So if you actually take that bottom portion, it's going to really adjust your price point. You're looking at an average price point of about $650 area. But usually, like I say, this area right here, we don't include just because the houses are so different. So if we're just taking the true East Roseville area, your average price point is right around that $805 and kind of moving up steadily. There are some new builds going on in the area, but you're not going to have a ton of it like you do in the West Roseville area. Now, in East Roseville, though, if you are working at one of the hospitals, this has got to be the best area to live, especially if you're on some sort of a response team. So you've got Sutter Roseville Medical Center right there. So basically, you just can take Secret Ravine right here, or we see a lot of people take this East Roseville Parkway straight in there. The other one, let me bring this map down a little bit here for you, is going to, of course, be our Kaiser. Now, this is Kaiser's hospital, full campus. You pretty much get everything and anything done there. They do have some smaller campuses that they've built out recently. One of them is going to be down in this Kirby area, where mostly office buildings support staff there, but they also do have some medical facilities down on the bottom area. So it's really nice. Spreads you out a little bit and gives some of the people on the south end of Roseville just a really quick place to kind of jump into. So other than that, you're going to have, like I say, the Kaiser Permanente right there. Douglas Boulevard here is going to be your main area for shopping. You're going to have your Targets, you're going to have your brunch spots, you're going to have your shopping. You're going to have your like TJ Maxx's, Bank of America. Of course, you can see Pete's Restaurant there, your Safeway. All right, so other than that, you also have Secret Ravine. This is some really cool walking trails throughout here. It's pretty much just a small creek that runs probably most of the summer, but then kind of dries out pretty good. Other than that, most of the people, if you're doing that commuting, of course, you're taking that 80 right there. And then as you can see where Roseville is at, you're really not that far at all if you're going from your Roseville area. Pretty much everyone just uses Douglas Boulevard, and you can head right into Folsom Lake. So not too far. I would say, depending on where you're at, if you're more in this west area, probably going to take you about 20 to 25 minutes, just because, again, you're going up here, coming down the 65, getting off, and then kind of coming in. But if you're not, and you're on this East Roseville area, I mean, that is pretty much just a straight shot down Douglas Boulevard. as you're going down Douglas Boulevard. You're gonna run right into the park, and then of course you're gonna just drop your boat here and you've got a lake day ready to go. Now let's drop down into the downtown Roseville. This is where I'm seeing a ton of movement, ton of people going into the area. Price point right now for this downtown area is gonna be right in that $530 range. Again, that's that 3-bedroom, that 2-bathroom, but you're going to get some of that backyard. Now there's 2 spots to this downtown area, okay? So you really got kind of the Manors, Cherry Glen, Hillcrest, and then we're gonna go over kind of to this Roseville Heights area. These are gonna be where you're gonna find some Tudor homes, you're gonna find ranch style homes. We're also going to find some of our bungalow homes, really cool characteristics on these properties. Most of these properties have been have a raised foundation. Some of these houses very rare, but they do have some basements. So if that's something you're looking for, you can from time to time find this. And when I talk about this area, I usually include that Roseville is really pushing for those flex or granny suites, detached properties. That's really happening in this whole downtown area. So if you're into that, if you want to maybe build later on for mom, dad, or just maybe doing an Airbnb, it's a great place to go. So let's jump into that a little bit more. All right, so as you can see, once we kind of come in, we're in downtown. It's been built out pretty well. Therefore, you're gonna have a lot of stuff going on. So one of the big parks is going to be, of course, Royer Park. It's a really long park. It's one of those parks, they've got a little stadium out there where they do plays out, old school swing set place area there, huge grass area, some tennis courts, basketball courts in this little area. Now, as you go down, you're in this historic area, you got Vernon Street right here. Vernon Street is where they're really reviving. Let me kind of come up a little bit. So right here is where they're really doing a revival of the downtown area. You've got, of course, your Blue Line Arts. That is going to be sitting pretty close to your theater right there. You've got Dry Creek running through the downtown area. We've got Gooseport that just opened up not too long ago. It's actually a pretty cool place. This was a parking building that they completely converted the whole thing into office on top and food and eatery down below. Goldfields. Goldfields is something our locals are going to know this. They've been in Sacramento for years. They finally just opened up in the downtown Roseville area. This is a great date night spot, hangout. They bring live bands in there. I don't even know if I see it right here. Well, it's going to be right in this area right here. It's called The Spot. If you're looking for Italian food, great place there. We got a Mexican restaurant that actually is not showing up here. Let me see if I can come in a little bit more. Yeah, it's not actually even showing up, but you got a Mexican restaurant that's right here. Monk's Cellar. All these places are really nice places to go and hang out. And then on Washington Boulevard here, let me kind of actually come out a little bit. Washington Boulevard, this is actually going to be a really large area where they've got some fountains going off. People run through them during the summertime, but they do a lot of Tuesday night family events here. That's where you're going to get it up and down. So they close the roads. They allow families, vendors, all these people come out, usually going to have a band, just have a really good time in this area. So if you're into a lot of activity, getting to know your neighbors, that's the place to be. Now the secondary part as we come up, we kind of come back out, is going to be, all right, sorry about that guys. All right, so you take this little roundabout, and the secondary part of downtown that they're really reviving is right here off of Washington Boulevard and Main Street. Now, this is going to be whether you're a night owl, you've got a lot of bars, eateries out here. My favorite pizza joint is Old Town Pizza, but you're starting to see a lot of revival down here. So there's a whole bunch of bridges that they've actually here it is right here, and there's another one over here that's not showing up because I'm far enough out. Oh, here it is, Sierra Boulevard. So a lot of these bridges they're redoing, revamping. They're making walkways, so that way if you're living in some of these areas, you can now just easily walk down to these downtown areas, grab yourself some coffee, get some pizza with the family, and then kind of just walk back. So making that walkability score for my Bay Area people, I know that's pretty important. You get a nice walkability score in this area. Other cool thing that we're seeing is they are starting to build condos in the area. So we've got a huge project that just finished up right here on this corner. It's actually not even showing up on the map yet, but tons of condos. Really cool because you can, if you're on this side, you're actually overlooking some of that downtown area. Great if you're a people watcher, or if you're on this other side, you're just kind of looking out into the neighborhoods. The other project that's starting to happen, they're actually building right now, is going to be right here on this little corner, building some more condos. Now this is kind of cool because it's a little raised up, so you get to overlook, depending on where you're at, you're gonna be able to overlook the railroad, which is right here, and then that is also going to look into the other portion of the downtown area. Now the railroad right here, yes, you can get some noise here, but it's not too bad because basically, as you can see from this, there's a ton of railroad activity that happens here, and this is not where trains are kind of flying through. This is where they're coming to get their maintenance. They're coming to decouple, couple new carts on there. This is all happening in this section right here. So yes, you are going to get some trains from time to time, but they're not flying through. You're not getting a ton of noise coming through. Now another cool thing in this downtown area is, of course, you have Dry Creek that runs through this. This is a really cool little area. There's some trails that go on here, so hiking, biking, you just drop in there, and again, you kind of feel like you're in a different area. And then the other place that's really getting a lot of steam lately has actually been called the Grounds. So the Grounds is one of those areas where they not only have Renaissance fairs, they also have huge sporting complexes. So my daughter actually even goes over there, does volleyball. They've got basketball courts, and these are huge facilities. You're gonna have the police department right there, a really clean area, and then you've got the All-American Speedway. So if you're into dirt tracks and watching cars zoom around these things and do some crazy stuff, it's a fun atmosphere. One of the things that they're doing right now is they're actually breaking out this little area, making it a roundabout. So therefore, everybody over in this kind of Sierra Vista area can then walk over, enjoy the grounds, and supposedly there's gonna be some trails to kind of drop those people as well into the downtown area. If you're looking for that area, there are houses coming up. But like I say, it's become a popular area for people to go to just because of where the price point is, and you're not buying what a lot of people would say a box, right? You're not right against your neighbor. You've got some room to move. Also, it's pretty easy access if you're going from that Roseville and you want to get to your 80 and then just head straight down to Sacramento. Also, if you want to kind of jump into some of the other neighborhoods, if you're in that downtown area, you can real quickly hit Citrus Heights, hit Orangeville. I'll say, like, especially Citrus Heights right there where we actually meet. There's a lot of good food, some really good donut shops out in that area, of course. So it's just a cool little area to be in. Nice little vibe, of course. So that's my Roseville, guys. Like I say, breaking down into 3 different groups. We've got East Roseville, West Roseville, and downtown Roseville. Again, just to kind of review, if you want those new builds, you got to get into really that West Roseville area. If you want more older established neighborhoods, you're going to be looking at East Roseville. And then if you just want more of a fun atmosphere, maybe a little bit smaller of a house, some style or some characteristics in that property, you're definitely going to want to hit that downtown area. Now, I will also say we're not downtown like, say, like Sacramento or like your big major places like LA or San Francisco. It's just a really quaint little area to be in. A lot of people, it's still a family atmosphere down there for sure. So hopefully, guys, you got everything out of this one that you needed. If you guys need more information on any of those areas or the surrounding areas, of course, hit us up, because as much as we love making these videos, we love helping you buy and sell real estate even more. But we'll see you guys on the next one. See you later.